like I don't even want to get in front of the camera because I just this is unbelievably gorgeous, and I just don't want to spoil it. Like yeah, here. Okay, maybe I'll spoil it just one bit. Believe it or not, I have a lot going on today. Okay, let's go home. Otherwise, I'm going to spend my entire time looking at prairie dogs, if that's even what that is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it feels like a Monday. I have this theory that we should have 4 days of work, like 4-day week, and a 3-day weekend. What do you think? It's a good idea, right? Like, why can't we accomplish in 4 days what we could in 5? I'm sure we can. We'll adjust as people. I think this is a good idea because a weekend is just not enough rest time for people. It's just not enough. On Friday, you're happy that it's the weekend, but you don't really begin your wind down, like you're celebrating, really. And then on Saturday, you're running errands, like the errands that you couldn't run during the week. And then, so Saturday is really like a work day, like a work day for your life, not a work day for, a job. And then Sunday, many people have church and they're meeting with family. Also not like super restful, except when you count like Sunday afternoon. I think Sunday afternoon is when the weekend really begins. Like that's when you start resting. And then comes like Sunday night and you're getting the kids ready for school. You're preparing for Monday, Sunday night. And then you wake up on Monday and then like it's, on again. Like we need one more day. Like Monday, Friday should stay Friday, but Monday should become Sunday. Like Monday should be rest day. That's what Monday is, because that's when you really are like, you've done the decompressing, like you're resting. Right? Right. We clearly left in a rush this morning. Jam is out. Kitchen is dirty. Bread I baked on Sunday. Today, I dropped the kids off at school and then I went for my little walk and shot some content. I'm that person now, guys. You're gonna hear me say things like shot some content. And so I was done with that. I'm now at home, gonna tidy up the kitchen a little bit. And then it's like go for the rest of the day. Yeah. Hold on to your horses. I don't like being busy, so just thinking about all of today like makes me tired. But somebody's got to pay this rent. Actually, somebody asked me that. Like in one of the comments, there's a question as to like how essentially I afford my lifestyle. Honestly, I don't think I live a lifestyle that really deserves that kind of a question. What I mean by that is that I don't think I live a lifestyle where, to me, it doesn't look like how do you afford that lifestyle? But then I spoke to a friend of mine about it, and she said when she looks at my social media, for those who don't know me personally, it does look like, I'm just, I don't know, chilling, or taking care of my kids, which we know that can be involved for any parent. But like I have the time to be with the kids, and then I have time to go on little trips, and I have time to hike, and I have time, like I'm just like out here because I've got the time and the time to do all these things. And it's not like I don't have the time, but I think more accurately, I'm very intentional about making the time for those things because that's what I want basically 100% of my life to be. But it's really maybe 50-ish percent. I've gotten to the point where I want more life than work, even though I feel like I've sort of reached somewhat of a balance that's okay, but it's not okay because while I'm chilling, there are moments where I kind of worry of like, oh, do we have enough for this month? Do I have enough for? And I think any household where you are the one working and all the money that there is you are making, there isn't a second person where finances are coming from. It's just, it depends on you. So I think any household like that, in fact, any household, you're always in some way budgeting in your mind of what is enough. So I've gotten to a point where I am learning about myself and I recognize that I like the freedom of my time. I like to own my time and I like that freedom and I very much enjoy it. And even though I do love DJing the weddings that I DJ, and I do love art and creating work that can live in people's households and can maybe exist for 100 years or more. I love that about artwork, is that it's just immortal, isn't it? And I treasure the experience of teaching these in-person mindset classes where my other income is coming from. I enjoy all of those things, but I also recognize that those things are sort of location dependent, because I have to be somewhere and go somewhere and do a thing. Fine. And I also recognize that those things require a lot of my time in order for me to then make the money. Like I'm still exchanging time for money, if that makes any sense. So I don't essentially own my time. The way that in my mind I see myself owning my time is creating a space where there will be, what is that English word? Passive income. Creating a space where there is passive income so that when I am having that leisurely experience of like going on fun adventures that I really enjoy in the outdoors, or a little bit more traveling that we're currently doing, or just like chilling and spending the most amount of time that I possibly can with my children without any need for going to work and going to go do something, for me to live that life more than I am now. I want more of that. I have to be more intentional on making that happen. And I recognize the opportunity that there is in content creation. Sometimes I see online people commenting on other creators' spaces where they're like, content creators, like, this is just a thing for the moment and it's gonna go away. Whether it is or not, I don't know. But what I am really drawn to is the fact that you can create content, especially on YouTube, and it can live for a very long time and it can continue bringing financial opportunities into your life, but also it can solidify a voice for who you are, allowing you to build other opportunities that you're able to monetize and can come back into your life and build the lifestyle that you want. Because honestly, like, did we choose to be born for the sake of working? I don't know, bruh. Like, nah, you know me, I'm not a person who loves to work, I'm not opposed to it. I love the things that I enjoy, and I'm currently enjoying filming a whole lot, and I enjoy learning. And I recognize for myself that learning is also, there's a freedom to learning, right? Because there's a freedom necessary to this learning space because it requires time. So yeah, I've said a lot. I'm just really hiding the dishes in the sink. Like, I'm not doing the dishes right now. I only have an hour of actual, and then after that hour. Okay. You know, that does happen, doesn't it? Huh? That does happen because you can't be everything to everyone and can't do everything all the time. And I recognize that this particular week, housework, who's gonna be doing not me, I'm not gonna be doing housework this week. You know, we as women need to recognize that we're not super people. Like, we're not superwoman. We're not superwoman. We have to recognize that we only have so much energy, right? Like, we're human. All human beings, we only have so much energy, and therefore we need to be very, I'll say it again, intentional about where that energy goes. Some weeks, housework is like this, right? And your house is like, it could be on the cover of AD magazine. What's AD magazine? I've seen that online somewhere. Okay, but you get it, right? And then some weeks you're on another energy and your focus is elsewhere. And it's okay to have a dirty house, guys. It's okay. It's that famous oatmeal that just keeps us so healthy in this house. Except my kids are no longer a fan. They're like, Mommy, not oatmeal again. I'm still a fan. I still like it. I think it still tastes so good.
You want my powers, I will show you where they go. You like the wind, I'll tell you where it blows. Clean as you go, clean as you go, clean as you go,
yeah. My kids love doing that. My maternal grandmother, we called her Okulu while she was still here with us. She once told a story where when she was younger, I think she was already a mom, but she was working as a housekeeper in the farms somewhere in Kimberley, I believe, or somewhere in the northwestern region of South Africa. And she, you know, it's hard to tell the story in English properly, but basically the name that she would give to the household that she was taking care of and cleaning is Iesi. Iesi is huis in Afrikaans, which means house, but it's more of a mid-story. My alarm clock rang, can you believe it? Like, totally cut the entire energy of the story, but maybe we can bring it back. So one time Okulu told me that I believe it was the woman whom she worked for, but she would say that if she can hear the dishes in the kitchen, so if you can hear the clink clanking of the dishes and the clink 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 of the dishes, then you know that the person working is not happy. They're just not having it that day. But when you hear the loud sounds of the linen, of, you know, the sheets as you're making the bed, that's a good sign. That means a person is good, they're well, they're happy, they're doing their work, you know? So as you hear me make my bed, it must make sounds so that we know that I'm doing a good job making the bed, like all is well. But if you hear the sounds in the kitchen, king, king, cling, cling, not a good sign. It's just like, that person is mad as heck as they wash those dishes. I like these stories. They're interesting stories. And somebody else might even think them to be sad stories because it's like, stories of somebody being a housekeeper. Sure, there are some aspects of it that don't feel very good, right? Like, especially the circumstances that my grandmother was working under, the fact that it was under the apartheid regime, that this wasn't a job of her personal choosing. This wasn't something that she was doing because she was passionate and happy to be doing it. And she didn't have the luxury to just, I don't know, think, oh, let me take a nap right now. She had to function under an oppressive system to make ends meet for her children. And I'm very grateful to her for telling stories to us that did bring humor, so that you see that a person's life is not just one thing, even though she was doing things that were not her first option and her first choice in how she wanted to live her life. But she still had her humor, she still had her personality, she still had her own outlook on life, she still had her own opinions. She was still a full human being, even in that circumstance. It's interesting. There's a book that I really love called Shantara. My brother gave me this book ages ago. And I remember picking up my brother from the bus station, and he had just come back from Johannesburg. No, he had just come back from Durban, and we lived in Johannesburg at the time. So he got in the car, and my brother was a bookworm, like from the word go. This is him. If you know that show called The Middle, and there's that boy who is, don't know his name anymore, used to watch The Middle a long time ago, the one whose nose is always in a book. Yeah, so that was my brother. His nose was always in a book. So he gets in the car, and he's like this, in a book as usual. And I drive home, and we lived in Four Ways at the time. And we get to the house, he's going up the stairs. This is him the whole time. I think he said hi, and that was it, in the whole trip. He just greeted, that was the end. Gets in his room. Then comes nighttime, and he comes out of his room, and it's dark, comes into my room, throws this book that he's had the whole time onto my bed, and he says, do yourself a favor, read that. Up until that point, I hadn't been reading all that very much. And the book that he throws onto my bed, this book, Shantara, it's like, no, I'm exaggerating, but it's like this. Maybe 400 pages, 500 pages, but it's a Bible. It's a Bible of a book. And it looks intimidating, and it has this name, Shantara. Like, what the heck is Shantara? I don't know. I didn't know back then. This is like some 15 years ago. So I look at it, and I'm like, okay. I mean, if a person was that hooked, you have no choice but to read it. I pick up the book, and I let go of watching my favorite show, Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I put my phone down, reluctantly, and I pick up the book, and I start reading. That first paragraph of Shantara, I'm going to find it right now on my laptop, and I'm going to read it to you. Shantara, first paragraph. It took me a long time in most of the world to learn what I know about love and fate and the choices we make. But the heart of it came to me in an instant while I was chained to a wall and being tortured. I realized somehow, through the screaming in my mind, that even in that shackled, bloody helplessness, I was still free. Free to hate the men who were torturing me, or to forgive them. It doesn't sound like much, I know, but in the flinch and bite of the chain, when it's all you've got, that freedom is a universe of possibility. And the choice you make between hating and forgiving can become the story of your life. Shantara by Gregory David Roberts. And that makes me think of the story of my grandmother, the story of so many people who came before us, so many people living today. No matter what it is that's going on in one's life, you always have that choice, right? Between hating and forgiving, and whether or not you are free, because freedom itself, isn't that a choice? It's in the decisions that we make, the chances that we take or we don't take. Freedom. And I feel like in this first paragraph of Shantaram, the freedom that he speaks of is the freedom here, where everything begins, right? With you. So I read that book after my brother gifted it to me more than anything. He didn't suggest. He was rather, he implored. I keep using this word that I don't even know what it means. His action of throwing it on my bed and the way he looked at me, it wasn't just a suggestion. It was a, listen, what are you doing with your life if you're not reading that book? Like, what are you doing? So I read it cover to cover, and go read it. I won't go into what the book is about, but you go ahead and read it. And now I'm just thinking about it today, because I'm thinking about the choices that I make in my life and the way that I choose to live my life. Why and why not, what I do, what I don't do, why I do it. The motivations behind it, the inspiration, and my reasoning, and the values that I'm choosing about what my life feels like and looks like and is going, even, the near future and so forth. And it's an interesting thing, freedom. I like it. I like the idea of freedom. I like to be free in my mind. And I like to look at the world and see the rules and see how it is set up. And then to choose how I want it, what rules I want to make for myself and how I want to live. And I don't want to be a worker. I don't want to be a worker bee. I never have wanted that. Maybe I was too young to really assert what I truly, truly did want. And that was the freedom to live. That's it. That's it. That's the decision, to live. On that note, I'm going to take a 30-minute nap before I go do what I need to do to build this freedom that I desire, the outward experience of it, because here it's coming together. Good night! I tried to nap, but I couldn't quite fall asleep, could I? But the lie down was really good. Shall we go on to the next one? Okay. I'm here to teach. Wish me luck. I'm a little bit nervous. A lot nervous. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello. You're back again?
I'm back. I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Can I have a hug?
Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to learn Spanish, so next time maybe I'll be able to do both.
We'll be ready.
I'll be ready for Spanish and English. Thank you for helping with that. So I'm done with my mindset workshop class. We finished about 15 minutes ago, and I was just chatting with everybody after class, and now I'm using the workshop space to prepare for the next bit of work. And I have a consultation with a wedding couple. Oh, I think they just jumped on. Okay, hold on. Yep. Well, they're 2 minutes early, so I'm gonna take my 2 minutes to prepare. So I'm not gonna let them on just yet. Need to see what date their wedding is. All right. Oh, and where it is. And their vibe. Got 1 more minute. I like. I like what I'm seeing here. Okay. A lot of this is so good. It's DJ's choice, so I love that. I love it when we get to create something together. But you know what? Whatever a person wants for their wedding, I'm cool with it. But I especially enjoy it when they're like, this is the vibe we're going for. Please do what you do and make it work. You know what I mean? Okay, let's talk. Hello. Well, that went exceptionally well. I absolutely love teaching these mindset workshops. Diving into journaling and sharing that process and the tools to cope, with emotions. And then bringing art into the picture and how I utilize it and the methods and the experience of painting, blindfolded, and then with your less dominant hand, and what that does for each person as they experience it, and then music and how I incorporate that into these workshops. I want to teach so many more of these workshops. Like, I want to teach them all over the world. Yes, they say from my mouth to God's ears.